Recently, Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson was accused of assault, which allegedly happened back in October of 2020, while Watson was still playing for the Houston Texans. This is the latest of more than 24 lawsuits of women accusing him of similar crimes. He settled 23 of those lawsuits in 2022 and served an 11-game suspension from the NFL. The lawsuit arose only a day after the Cleveland Browns lost to the Dallas Cowboys, 17-33, of which Deshaun Watson had a subpar performance, throwing for 169 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 interceptions. The incident allegedly occurred at the women's apartment before they were supposed to be having dinner. A Browns spokesperson released the following statement: "We will respect the due process our legal system affords regarding to the recently filed civil suit and follow the NFL's guidelines on this matter." Watson is not expected to go on the commissioner's exempt list. In the Wednesday press conference, Deshaun had this to say about the situation.
Do you have any idea that this lawsuit was coming when you were playing Sunday?
No, sir. I found out exactly whenever everyone else found out.
Were you surprised then when you did find out?
Yes, ma'am.
How much thought have you given to the possibility the league could come after you once more for the personal conduct policy?
I haven't had any thought. Honestly, my focus is just figuring out, Jacksonville's plan on defense and focusing on my craft to be the best quarterback I can be on Sunday for this team. That's something that, the NFL has to, do on their time, and, I have to focus on what's in front of me right now.
This is the last thing he and the Browns need on their plate after an underwhelming 2023 season that had many injuries involved. This week, the Browns signed former Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver Kadarius Toney, adding another wide receiver to the already solid room. Over Deshaun Watson's career with the Browns, he is 8-5, which isn't bad, but the majority of those 5 losses should have been wins. His average throwing yards per game over those 13 games is 183.5 yards, and the highest he ever thrown for while wearing a Browns uniform is 289 yards. His average touchdown passes per game is 1.2, while the most touchdown passes he's ever thrown for in those 13 games is 2. And finally, his average interceptions thrown per game is 0.8, while his most thrown is 2, which he has done 2 different times. Keep in mind, Deshaun Watson is making $230 million over 5 years, with all of it guaranteed, which is the most guaranteed contract in NFL history. Now let's look at someone who was signed to a 1-year, $3.5 million contract last season and his numbers. Gardner Minshew averaged 194.4 yards per game with a high of 329 yards. He threw for 1 touchdown a game with a high of 3 touchdowns, and finally threw for 0.5 interceptions per game. Gardner Minshew is better than Deshaun Watson in almost every stat, but Deshaun Watson is getting paid nearly $43 million more than Minshew. Everyone needs to stop focusing on what Deshaun Watson was 2-3 years ago and start focusing on what he should be and what he needs to be. All I know is that Deshaun Watson better get his act together quickly, or his and the Brown season is going to be going straight downhill. If you liked anything I said on this video, please hit that subscribe button to show some support to me, and thanks for making it this far.